Hello, YouTube. I'm here with Russ from Maverick Skateparks. I am pleased to announce that Maverick is the um, chosen contractor for our Saxon Park development. I'm very excited to be able to interview him here. So, Russ, can you tell me how long have you been into skating?
That's a good question. Probably started when I was about 10, and I've been skateboarding on and off ever since.
Wow. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's great. It's good to know that there is this is being done by people who understand skating. And
yeah.
how
There's
long?
there's a lot there's a lot of different people in our organisation, from our site crews through to kind of like a management level that have skateboarding experience. Particularly the design side of things as well. That's quite important because
Hmm,
the understanding of what you're trying to achieve in terms of design and that kind of physical kind of reality of the skate park. That joining those two dots and being able to communicate with the local riders about what's required is important.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And how long have you been with Maverick?
Maverick is almost 20 years old, and I started the company with some friends. So yeah,
Nice.
a while. It's gone very fast. It's like sometimes it's like, where did it go? But yeah, no, it's been an amazing experience, and yeah, it continues to be.
Excellent. And can you give me some examples of parks that Maverick have made?
So, well, local to you guys, we've obviously got God Manchester. I think there's a
Mhm.
project in Biggleswade, which is not too far away.
Okay.
And then other projects which kind of spring to mind, which we're quite proud of that we've built relatively recently, uh, is a project in Hove Lagoon, which is really good. It's by the sea. It's a street kind of focused, very colourful design, but that's gone down really well with the community over there. Very much community led as well, which is important.
Mm.
And then we had the UK champs at Concrete Waves in Cornwall. So Newquay Skate Park is seen as one of the kind of more high end facilities out there. It's a large scale space and offers a lot of different elements and riding experiences for a variety of users. So it's a really cool space, that one. Um, and yeah, projects like St Ives, Mumbles. We're doing
Yeah.
quite a cool project in Wigmore near
Is
Luton
that
Airport at the
uh,
moment.
is that St Ives, Cornwall?
St Ives Cornwall, yeah,
Okay,
that's the
because
one with the
we
crazy
got a St
loop
Ives near us.
structure.
Right, okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm aware of that. And then we've got some very exciting projects coming up in 2026.
brilliant.
Yeah, you'll
I was
find
being
out
one of
about.
them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, those of you watching on YouTube, if you wanted to try a local skate park that Maverick has done, then probably Hove or Newquay is a bit far, but God Manchester is one you could try out. Um, so when it comes to a skate park actually in Bar Hill, what are the next steps involved in, how do we get from where we are now to concrete in the ground?
Well, that yeah. So there's kind of three main stages post tender.
Hmm.
Um, there's this community consultation, and during that, you have say the online consultation and face to face work. And
Okay.
within that stage, what we do is we generate data and information so we can create a design. Next stage, once that design is created, it goes to planning, and we have various routes through planning, depending on what kind of project we're looking at. And then once it's got its planning permission in place, the final kind of stage, actually prior to construction, is funding the park. So
Yeah.
that could be funding through the lottery, waste recycling companies, yeah, various crime commissioners fund, various different funds that exist out there that actually fund these projects.
Yeah.
And yeah, once you've reached your funding target, obviously you can reassess the design at that point. But you're in a position to construct, and that's when it gets very real and really exciting. We create detailed design drawings that we build from, and yeah, it goes in the ground.
Nice.
Makes it sound really simple, doesn't it? But um,
Yeah.
it kind of is. Those kind of three stages. When you break it up and try and, rather than look at it globally, just break it up into the 3 chunks.
Yeah.
Makes it more manageable. But obviously, during those different phases, there's lots of little things that can,
Yeah.
seek to disrupt or slow things down. But yeah, we've
Yeah, I'm sure.
spent a lot of time over the years kind of trying to help councils and communities through that process as efficiently as we can.
Yeah. At what stage would you say the design is locked in and that there can't be any more changes?
So ideally, when it goes to planning permission,
Mhm.
that's where you have a design that the community are in support of.
Yeah.
Um, However, there is still flexibility, because once you've got a design in place that's got permission, from a planning perspective, if that design's got a driveway in it, or a mini ramp, or a bowl, or ledges, and you mix those features around, or you might make that facility slightly smaller or even slightly bigger, as
Mhm.
long as you're working within the planning permission red line, um, the most you might have to do is a kind of like a reappraisal of the design with the planning officer, because
Right.
once you've got permission to build a skate park in a space,
Yeah.
generally speaking, as long as you're not interrupting services, or you're working within a red line environment, you do have this ability to kind of tweak or change the design as needed. And that is necessary, because in some senses, in the funding stage, for example, you might not reach your funding target, or you might go over and get more funding than you anticipate.
That'd
It's a
be
very
nice.
dynamic process. Yeah. And so in that respect, if you don't quite reach your funding target, then it might be a case of like redesigning to suit. And yeah, it's very dynamic until the point at which we create detailed design drawings for construction. So what's key is that at all stages in the process, we have a community-led design that the
Mm.
local riders and local community are supportive of and happy with. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Great. Yeah, thanks for that. From your experience of having built other skate parks, what challenges do you think we might face? For example, will there be or has there been some sort of feasibility study, geotechnical survey, or the like to verify that a skate park can actually exist on that site? And how can the community help overcome any potential challenges?
So some of the key challenges arise with planning,
Mhm.
and that there might be all sorts of constraints that a planning officer might put on a project, due to council policies and environmental concerns, services in the ground, trees that are nearby, or local houses that are too close, that kind of stuff. And generally speaking, when you're in that situation, you look at opportunities or remedies to kind of improve that situation. Um, so, as an example, if there's a line of services in the ground that kind of crop up later down the line through services or utilities check you run, or
Mhm.
a CAT scan that you do on the ground, um, it might be that you tweak a design or shift it slightly across the space to make sure you've got enough distance from that service pipe to where your construction is. And also, not in terms of the planning, there's also there might be I don't know, councillors might have a view particularly on certain aspects of the project,
Mm.
and yeah, you might have to meet their kind of needs and concerns. So there's a lot of politics sometimes that play with these projects, so you have to bear that in mind, and
Yeah.
you can possibly try and guess what that might be, or how it come,
Yeah.
at what point it crops up in the process. So the site and the planning permission aspect is one of the biggest challenges to overcome. The funding is as well, trying
Mm.
to make sure you've applied for the funds in the best way possible to achieve your goals. Yeah, there's all sorts to look out for. I mean, I guess part of that responsibility lies with us to help you guys get where you need to go, and we've obviously done this quite a few times over the years, and it is up to us to kind of draw on our experiences to support you guys moving forward and help you make the best decisions.
Yeah, great, thank you. And on the subject of funding, how can the community get involved in the project? Like, for example, there's fundraising for large amounts of money, and then there's also fundraising for small amounts of money, which you get through like school discos, community outreach events, and the like. Which of those is most important, if either, and how do they work together, and how can the community get involved?
I would say the best example of community action, community fundraising is probably crowdfunder. We've done a few projects over the years with through the crowdfunder platform. We found it's been really successful, and essentially, it's a great example of community support for a project because what it demonstrates is people putting their hand in their pocket physically and saying, not only do I support this project, but I'm prepared to financially support it.
Mm,
And it's also a kind of live petition. So if you get a lot of support, you can see that there's large numbers of people that are willing to financially support that project. And the so I think Sport England get involved, the lottery get involved to kind of support those processes as your kind of total increases within the crowdfunding platform, which is great. And we've got Millbrook's a good example of a project that was very successful with their crowdfunding. So they've got
yeah,
quite a small community, about 3,000 people in Millbrook, and they raised over 60,000, I think, through the crowdfunder platform, which is a real chunk for a small community like that. And
yeah,
there's loads of other great examples, like Totnes did brilliantly with their crowdfunder. Portishead did really well. Project in Twyford that did crowdfunding. The list goes on, and I think that moving forward, a lot more communities are using that crowdfunding platform because they know that not only does it work really well in itself to create or generate funding, but it also helps with other funders because if other funders look at your project and go, oh, actually, yeah, this you can see the community here are in support of it and they're financially contributing towards making it happen, that's a
mm,
really good kind of indicator of a strong project and a community desire to have like a wheel sports space.
yeah. And I guess then that feeds into applications for like fundraising for large amounts of money for like 150,000 and so on. If
Yeah,
potential funders can see that community is backing this, then
yeah,
that makes a big difference when it comes to bigger organizations backing it.
absolutely. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing some of your time today. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the community before we complete?
Only that we're really keen to kind of get going with you guys and excited to be chosen to work on this project. And thanks for putting your trust in us. And obviously we're keen to make it happen. So yeah, look forward to working with you in the future.
Great. Thank you. And if you out there on YouTube would like to stay up to date, then please don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to our channel.